What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Andre SOG Ward. You know, Andre had a lot to say when he was being interviewed, um, and he was answering questions about retirement. But the main topic was they asked him, who would he fight? How would he fight Deontay Wilder? What would he do against a guy like Deontay Wilder and his style? And Andre Ward kept it real. He said that I would not fight Deontay Wilder. And they were like, wow. And people started laughing. He was like, no, seriously. He's just too tall. The reach is too vast. You have to be smart. I wouldn't get in the ring with him. You know, it reminds me when he said that, that's one of the rules of Art of War. You know, if a fight can't be won, don't fight it. And I think that's what he was applying to this, you know, and that's exactly what I thought about when I heard it. You know, I'm not sure what he intended. He was just being smart that he didn't want to get in the ring with someone like Deontay Wilder. And he used Roy Jones as an example. He said, well, when Roy Jones Jr. went to heavyweight, he didn't fight Lennox Lewis. He fought John Ruiz. So, you know, he's not the right style for Andre Ward. And it shows you that people do select certain fighters that they know what the style is versus or a style that's good for them versus a style that is not good for them. Now, you could look at that either way, because I can criticize that and counterpunch that saying, well, you think you would want to fight the person that gives you the most difficulty. You know what I mean? Because the fighter that gives you the most difficulty is the fighter with the biggest challenge, I would assume, right? But in a lot of cases, if you know that you can't fight a guy, or you believe that you cannot beat a person, why fight him? That makes no sense. That is not really being logical. You know what I mean? And I think the fighters today, they know what fights to choose and select. That's why you have a lot of ducking going on, a lot of avoiding, right? So I feel that because you have those fighters that know and see, like Andre Ward would view an opponent like Deontay Wilder, instead of saying, hey, keeping it real, like Andre Ward was like, man, I'm not fighting him. You know what I mean? They would say something else and make another excuse up. You know, like, oh, well, I want $10 million. You know what I mean? Or, you know, or just something crazy. Just make up something that will automatically, you know, deter you from fighting that particular fighter. But I thought it was cool. Also in this interview that Andre Ward, he speaks some knowledge, man. I mean, Andre Ward, he's a guy that he is an example. He is a guy that you want to look up to. He's a guy that people do look up to after he's retired, because he represents that percentage of fighters that got out while he was on top, or was still in good health without any financial problems or physical problems or any other problems that consist with boxing. Okay, so he wanted to show the fighters that are coming up now that, hey, either if you're 32 or you're 42, you're going to have to retire anyway. Okay, it's going to be a time when a promoter won't put you in there no more. You won't be able to fight. You won't get licensed to fight. You're going to have to retire. So a lot of times the biggest challenge is retirement. So I thought that was pretty important, because he had a lot to discuss, just, you know, concerning retirement. You know, and he was just honest, like, hey, you know, a lot of times he wants to come back into the sport. The question is, will a guy that left, like, that was considered one of the top, at least the top 5 pound for pound when he got out of the game, after he beat the boogeyman, which was Kovalev at the time, right? Even a lot of people, including myself, thought he lost the first fight. He came back and did what he did in the second fight. Then he left on top. You know, it's hard to kind of leave on that hiatus, right? On that high, right? And take that hiatus, rather. and never come back. So the question is, you know, Andre Ward was mentioned. He would like to fight some cruiserweight, but there's not a big enough cruiserweight right now for him to come back, because his whole thing was about heavyweight, because he was going to heavyweight at one point. And, you know, there were rumors about Joshua, him fighting Joshua at some point, but then it never, you know, matured to that level. But back to Wilder, Ward didn't think he could beat him, you know, and you got to be careful with Wilder. You know, he might, a lot of people might not like Wilder, but he is a dangerous guy, because he does have that punching power. And with one of those punches, if Kovalev can drop Ward, what do you think someone bigger like Deontay Wilder could do with much devastating punching power? So he just kept it real on that, you know, and I just wanted to share it with you guys. So the question I have to ask you guys is Andre Ward coming back to the sport of boxing? That's the question you ask yourself. That's what I want to ask you guys. You guys let me know. Also, let me know what you feel about Andre Ward would refuse to fight Deontay Wilder. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.